Thank you for your attention talk. Attention!
He wasn't listening to you.
Well then, does anyone have a question? Yes.
Can the people online hear me? Kind of? This is right by my mouth. Okay. Zen Master Hae Kwang, what is your definition of Zen?
What are you doing right now?
Asking you a question.
Yeah, so hit the floor. Put your hands like this. And pay attention. That's Zen practice. So we all had a strong taste of Zen practice this morning. First, we chanted. We did a few prostrations. So in regular morning practice, not Sunday morning, we do 108 prostrations to begin. So that's a very important part of our practice. And it's a wonderful practice. When you do prostrations, you're like revolving around your center of gravity. And so your center becomes, as Zen Master Sung San used to say, stronger, stronger, stronger. And then chanting. In the weekdays, we do morning bell chant. Chant junction with this bell, which you're often hit. And that takes about a half hour. So 15 minutes of prostrations, 15 minutes of chanting, and then about a half hour of sitting, and then a brief reading from one of the Koan books. So there's a little bit of teaching at the end. So, that might be a good summary of what Zen practice actually is. But I think your question has to do more with really, what is Zen? So Zen is a Japanese word. It's the Japanese pronunciation of what was originally the Sanskrit word dhyana, D-H-Y-A-N-A, and which the Chinese pronounced as chana, and then shortened to chan. In Korea, it's pronounced son. So it's an ancient practice. Buddha lived about 2,500 years ago. And we don't consider Buddha to be the founder of specifically Zen, but he certainly found Buddhism, and Zen is a Buddhist meditation form. And it's important to include Buddhist in that definition. So in your talk, you alluded, I think a couple of times, to the first great vow. We began practice by reciting the first great vow. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. The Chinese, the Sino-Korean actually says nothing higher. Kind of hard to translate that literally and have some punch to it. So we say inconceivable. We vow to attain it. So without those four vows, Zen doesn't have much, Zen practice wouldn't have much direction. In fact, most people would think of it as a kind of chilling out, and that's maybe a kind of a colloquialism anyway, to zen out, so chill out. So it's clearly, much more than that. And if you, completely devote yourself to it, it can change your life. You must change your life, is the conclusion of a well-known Zen poem. So that's my idea of what Zen is after practicing it, since 1978. And you'd think I maybe know more than that by now, but that about sums it up. So we always teach, don't know. don't know returns your attention to your original mind, the mind that is completely open, like a baby's mind. What is this? If you have the assumption that you already know, you have no reason to pay attention. So this don't know is a very important part of Zen. So thank you for your question. Might there be another question? Maybe what we call a bodhisattva question. Bodhisattva question means you don't really have the question, but to help all beings present in this room, you ask one.
I have a question, although it's really a question for me. So it's not a bodhisattva
question. Okay.
So I had read about, and I believe it's Wonhyo. Is he the one that did the was drunk and saying, the master's this and that, and do I have the right person?
Yeah.
Okay. And I wonder, it almost seems like the stories are like the drinking is part of what maybe made him famous. I'm not real sure. I just have trouble wrapping my head around a prominent teacher getting drunk.
Yeah.
And then we tell stories about it, because my father was a drunk, and it never had any enlightening experience. It was never fun. It was never, and I've known others, and it just
time is running short, so let me just respond. First of all, Wonhyo was one of the great teachers in the Korean tradition. Lived around the year 600. He was good friends with another monk named Wisang. Wisang was very strict about keeping the precepts. And Wisang did some wonderful work, which we can talk about another time, perhaps. But Wonhyo was a wild man. He was always running around, ringing a bell, Dayan, 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 and you must wake up, and he would consort with prostitutes. You didn't mention that part, but I'll add that, besides drinking. His idea was for all beings. He certainly brought a lot of attention to his teaching by behaving the way he did. And we don't have to approve of it, but we can use it as a maybe very dramatic example of not making special. I practice Zen, and therefore ... So I don't think I know anyone here who is like that, so please don't go around drinking and consorting with prostitutes and so forth. Not necessary. But that was his direction. And it said that he helped many, many people with his crazy action. He didn't just entertain them in that way. I imagine he was a very entertaining figure. It sounds like he was a lot of fun besides, whatever else he was. So that's about all I can say about Wonhyo. I certainly do not intend to imitate him. Sometimes I'm a little tempted, but not going to do that, okay? So thank you for your question. And I think that's maybe time for one more short question. Okay, in that case, we can move to announcements.